Doodlebud here. Today we're checking out this pen, not a fountain pen this time. Instead, it's a dip pen, so it still uses fountain pen inks. Full metal body made by the company Drillog, and they're based in Japan. And this is quite a slick piece. I have used dip pens in the past. Usually it was the glass ones. I wasn't a fan. I had a lot of troubles making them write reliably. Also on glass bottles, when you dip them in, I would try my best not to, but every now and then I would just misgauge the depth. And on every single one of those glass dip pens, the tips always broke on me. They just never really worked well for me. So having a metal one, again, you can't go ramming this into the bottle, but it'll stay together a lot longer. You really have to forcefully do something to damage these. So this is quite slick. This was sent over to me for review purposes. Here it comes with a pen body, so a nib holder, an individual nib. There's a few different styles and a few different nib point sizes. So I have two styles. There is a long and a short. Obviously, this is the longer one here. And then we have a shorter one down here. What that does, it just changes essentially the stick out of the nib. Some people like to be a little closer to the page. Some are happier being further back. So depending on what you like in your style, you might like to have the longer stick out of the nib, or you just unscrew it, which is quite nice. Easy to do. And there you go. Pop it in, screw this one in, and then you can switch between your different nibs, all that sort of stuff you have. They have different coatings and colors, all that kind of stuff. I'll give you the details, show you how it's been working for me. And then in the back here, we have a selection of different inks, some Ackerman, a Robert Oster. This one has some shimmer in it, so that'll be a good test to see how it holds up. Super sheener ink as well. This Octopus Fluids Right Draw ink, their blue koi, love it. And then also another little sheener. This is the Little Bob by Diamine. There's also a larger bottle too. I thought this is good because these are tough bottles to dip into because the neck is so small. That's where a dip pen comes in handy. So let me show you a little bit more about the pen. I'll bust out some paper and we'll start sampling the inks, and I'll show you how this does. I'll have a link down there in the description so you can check out their website and all the different offerings. There are different overall bodies, the nib holders. This is the classical too. The color, I believe it's called Nocturne Blue. There's a bunch of different color options as well. Then we have a few different nibs, as I showed. You can choose the point size. So here we have a 0.5 millimeter. The other raw one over here, titanium. So this is uncoated. You can also have different coatings, different finishes. So it's nice, the customizability of it. This one is a 0.8 millimeter. They say this is better for shimmer inks. I think they have a 1.2 as well. So you don't want to go too small or else the shimmer particles will clog up the feed. So let's go through and just give you a quick weight again. So this is the aluminum body. There's different ones with the small nib in there. It's about 20 grams with the larger nib, probably just a touch more. Yeah, 21.5. As you saw me playing with the pen, you can see you can screw the cap on, and also you can screw it on the back to post it. I like that feature because if it was just this long, this would be it'd be very small for my hand anyway. Someone with a smaller hand, no big deal, but for me, that'd be way too small. The fact that you can post it, now it's, just comfortable. Regular size pen, and you got no problems. I'll give you physical dimensions, then I'll give you a size comparison. Cap on, about 121.5. The holder posted with no nib in it is 122.4. The short nib sticks out about 21.4, and the long nib sticks out about 30.4. Body diameter, 10.5. For the size comparison, we have a Lamy LX Lamy 2000, the Drillog Jinhao 82, and a Sharpie. Here are the pens all posted up. The Drillog has the long nib. Let me replace it with the shorty. You can see with the short nib, it's very close in length to a Jinhao 82 posted. I'm using Clairefontaine paper. The format will be as follows. I will go through with the short nib, so the 0.5 millimeter, sample all the inks on the page, swap out to the 0.8, do the same thing side by side. That way we can just see how the nibs perform with the different sizes with the different inks. I figured while I'm doing the writing samples and doing the testing, I might as well give you some thoughts on the pen. Also, if you like to see giant ink spills, stay to the end because there's a second writing sample I do and it turns nasty. I've been doing some testing before this video with the pen. Overall, I have to say, quite impressed. Works great, simple to use. The only thing I would say to improve the experience overall is if they added some texturing to the lower portion of the pen, sort of the grip area, the section, so to speak. It's aluminum, it's anodized, And it's a smaller diameter, so at least for my hand, it can be a little bit turny in the hand, a little bit twisty. I find you do need to rotate it as you write. If you just stick in one spot, you will deplete the ink in that area, so you do need to sort of rotate it anyways. But just for greater control, if they added some knurling or just did something with the anodizing or the surface preparation underneath, just to improve the grippiness of the pen body, that I say would be sort of the only way to really improve it. But overall, yeah, it's working great, easy to clean, and just does what it's supposed to do and holds a fair amount of ink. You can do quite a bit of writing with it. I find dip pens, they just run out so quick, or sometimes they don't feed down to the tip at all. So this one I've been pretty happy with. I haven't had any issues as far as performance goes. Some of the inks aren't quite dry yet, but let me go through and show you what the point sizes look. I just have to say as a comment, the very first impression when I dipped it and wrote with it, I was quite surprised how smooth it was, especially compared to glass dip pens, which I have used before. So you can see there's the 0.5 and the 0.8, the 0.8 being, much wetter and juicier. As you can see, we managed to get some of the shimmer coming through, but I noticed the lines were a little bit thinner as I was, going through the strokes. So I'm not quite surprised that it maybe was clogging up a little bit with the shimmer like they instructed. They said, if you're going to use the shimmer ink, 0.8 millimeter or more. And you can see we didn't really have any problems with it down here. And we are getting some nice shimmer particles. We're still getting some nice sheen. It's still drying, so I'm not going to run my fingers through that. And then down with the octopus fluids. What I think I'm going to do is just do another test here in a moment. I'll explain what it's going to be. But essentially, I want to see how far I can write with the different nib sizes on a couple different inks. How much coverage can you get from one dip? It'll be a bit tricky to control because it depends how much you wipe the nib off on the bottle, but we'll give it a try. And lastly, again, here's that little bob, nice and vibrant. So yeah, I typically don't do a lot of ink videos. The main reason for that is it's messy. And this is as messy as my tissue got. I use the exact same tissue to wipe the nib for every single, so we have, 10 different dips. So I had to clean it out quite a few times. That's it. Usually it's a total mess when I'm doing ink videos. This has been my typical go-to dip pen lately. I've been frustrated with all the other ones I have tried. And so this is a little sailor dealy, and you can put the nib in there, snaps in place, dip it. And it's not too bad. Cleanup is more involved though. You got to dip it, wipe it, take it out, get everything in there. You still get some residue. I typically have to blow this out to make sure it's nice and clean. So with a dip pen like this, and even with the glass ones, they're very easy to clean. It's just I have not had a good experience with the glass ones. A little bit on information for pricing. So they're a Japanese company. Their prices are listed in Japanese yen. So the nibs and the holders, they're all about 22,000 Japanese yen each. Whatever your currency is, your conversion is just into Canadian as a reference point, about $200 Canadian. So it is, a premium dip pen. These are pretty cheap and they work. If you're really into dip pens and you want to get something that's very different from something else on the market and you're prepared to pay a lot more, there you go. A setup like this would be somewhere around $400 Canadian. So that's up to you if you decide that's your deal. So I think I'll do a little more rigorous testing, show you some stuff here if you're interested in something like this. But I have to tell, I was sent it for review. So for me saying is it worth it or not, I can't really comment on that because I didn't pay for it. But I am impressed with the overall build quality, the way it performs. It's surprisingly good how it's been performing for me as far as not having to dip over and over and over. There is a limit to how much it can hold, but it goes a lot longer than any other dip pen I've used. Cleans up nice and easy. Machining, finishing, everything is absolutely spot on, as you should expect with something that commands that type of price tag. So as far as build quality and everything else, I got to say top notch. Let's see how it performs on some more rigorous testing. Oh no! Oh, it happened. Oh man. You know, I went to move it because I thought I was in a bad spot, and it was in a bad spot. So there'll be a quick delay in the program. Give me a minute. Let's appreciate just the size of this spill. It is like reflecting my mug into there. That's a serious one. This is a bad one, like all over the book. Oh man. Holy cow. You can watch it slowly advancing here on the desk. This is why I typically don't like doing ink videos. Like, is this the best way to clean this up? It's just a catastrophe. Holy cow. I'm just going to use a little bit of my homemade pen wash to clean off the desk here. Actually, I'll just pour it on here. There we go. I find this is the cheapest stuff to use to quickly clean things up. It cleans up your hands quite well. I mean, pen wash is made to clean ink out of pens. So if you make a huge batch, it costs you, I don't know, $2 or something. You go ahead and you can use it to clean up your hands a little bit and also your desk. Pretty good. This is the worst part, the book. This is my favorite book right now. The Clairefontaine, this big one. All right, well, whatever. Stop the crying here. Let's just tear that out and restart. So the 0.8 outlasted the 0.5, but that makes sense because the 0.8 is quite a bit bigger, and also you can, load it up more. It's just going to have more ink capacity, so to speak. But either way, I've never had a dip pen write this long before. I can never do that with any dip pens I ever use. So I think it operates quite well. Let's go on to this stuff and see if we get any difference. So that is interesting. The 0.8 did not last as long this time as the 0.5. Don't know what's up with that. Also don't know how consistent my dipping is. So again, maybe that's a good result to show you here. Your results may vary depending on how you dip the nib in there, how much you wipe it off on the bottle, stuff like that. Here I was earlier bragging just how clean of a video this was for doing an ink video. I barely soiled the tissue and it turned into quite a bit of carnage. I think it's about time I shut this one down. I cleaned everything else out, but I got to clean myself up. Thank you to Drillog for sending me over their Classical 2 holder along with a pair of nibs. Overall performance, build quality, everything has been really good. This has so far been the best dip pen I've ever used. This one is great, but cleanup's a little more involved. And if you're really into dip pens and want like the dippest pen of all dip pens, this is the ticket. Your hands should not look like this afterwards. It should be quite an easy process for dipping and doing whatever you're doing, whether it's, I could see a lot of times for artists, for drawing, switching between inks quite a bit. You want something that's easy to clean or whatever your deal is with dip pens. If you are a huge hardcore dip pen user, I'd like to know from you down below, like, how do you use dip pens and why do you use them so much? Because I haven't used dip pens a bunch, but for future ink reviews, this one, no doubt, will be replacing this little guy. Again, provided you don't spill ink all over the place, you should be good. And cleanup has been a breeze up until that dreadful moment. We'll leave it there. Also, as always, hit a thumbs up if you could. That's a nice thing to do. Leave a comment, hit subscribe, maybe even join. I will be cleaning up for the rest of the night, and we'll catch you next time.